This podcast is brought to you by Ideate and Execute. Do you want to drive innovation in your organization, futurize your enterprise, ideate massively valuable new products, or execute them to market? Then contact us today at ideateandexecute.com and get started.
Why listen to the past when you can listen to the future? Welcome to the Think Future podcast, broadcasting from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We focus on innovation, startups, and the future, not necessarily those and not necessarily in that order. Here's your host.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcast. I greatly appreciate it. What was I going to talk about? Oh, yes. So, if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, over the last little while, you've probably gotten a slightly different blog post in your mail. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what's going on with Calabucas? What is going on with these blog posts? They're terrible. They're awful. So I tried an experiment. And the only way to make it a true experiment is to try it on people without telling them it's an experiment, right? Because if I told you an experiment, then you would screw it up. You have to know that it's an experiment. So what I did was I used AI. So you've heard of OpenAI. OpenAI is supposedly this amazing tool that can generate human-like content. In fact, it was so scarily human that about a year ago, when it first came out, they said, we're going to have to cut back on some of the capabilities of OpenAI because OpenAI is so scary. It could create all sorts of fake news and misinformation and blah, 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 blah. So they said they were going to do that, but then they decided to open it up anyway. So OpenAI is totally open to everybody, and there's some services that now allow you to build blog posts on top of OpenAI. So I thought to myself, I'm going to try an experiment. I am going to have OpenAI do some blog posts on my behalf and see what happens. And they turned out to be terrible. Terrible. Well, they were okay, but they were obviously full of words and keywords and stuff like that, but they didn't really have a good, they weren't really that good as blog posts. They didn't have a point. There was some information in them, but I don't think they were very good. At least in my opinion, they weren't very good. And some people got back to me, some of my subscribers got back to me and said, hey, Calabucas, what's going on with your blog? I don't know if I like these blog posts. Maybe I'll unsubscribe. And I said, wait. I let the cat out of the bag and I said, AI is writing those. I'm going to stop using AI to write those. And the reason why I did that is because so many people are so afraid of AI coming in, swooping in to take your job. And I said this before, AI is so far behind where we think it should be. I mean, we have the Fearstream media is so good at making people think that AI is going to swoop in and take your job. AI is not going to swoop in and take your job anytime because it's still way behind where we think it should be for AI to come in and take your job. Human beings are still the number one. I mean, there's actually a place, I think there's a website called Will AI Take My Job? And you can go in there and you can enter your position and it'll tell you what are the percentage, what is a chance AI will take your job. And I put that in for what I'm doing, and I got like 12% or something like that. It's really, really low. See, the thing is that we have to understand that there's a lot of things that AI can do, but replacing us is still far, far away, right? You can predict that AI will be able to do take certain automation from us. And I've said this before, that if AI can take your job, then you probably should be doing something else. As a human being, you have the capacity to do amazing things, And if AI takes your job, then you shouldn't be doing that job. Any human being shouldn't be doing that job. So, in my experiment, this amazing OpenAI system, which was supposed to replace blogs and write such good blogs it would replace human writers, did a terrible job. And if you ask me, writing blog posts that are full of keywords are probably the bottom of the line, bottom of the barrel when it comes to using AI to replace people's work. Human beings have so much capacity. We have so much capacity, way above and beyond what AI can do today. And the way AI is going, I don't see it getting to that point anytime soon. We're probably talking another 5, 10, 15, 20 years before we have AI actually writing blog posts that you can look at and say, yep, that's a really good post written by a human being. AI is way behind where we think it's going to be. And if you're concerned about AI taking your job, unless you're in one of those fields where you're doing highly automated work, then I think you'll probably be okay. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.